Well, hello. My name is GAT and welcome back to Caffeine, Victoria's Legacy. Last time, Cowdy left. Cowdy? And she was a girl. Who knew? Well, all the other girls, because they got mad at me. Yeah. Alright, let's get into this. The sun descends behind the hills to the west, once again hinting that it is time for another busy day to end. Alice has left for the day, feeling tired with the increased workload from both the increased traffic and Elise's absence for the day to attend her etiquette class. Honestly, I'm curious on what more she can learn. She is already pretty refined to me. But I guess you could always level up to become supremely refined. That leaves just the two of us. Mel is carefully calculating the processes we made for the day. How do we do? Wow, not good. Sorry, I gotta get into the flow. No. Oh my gosh, not good. We're losing money, but we're not earning it. No. We're not losing money, but we're not earning enough to pay our debts on time. Just can't wait to put my reforms into practice. Dude, I gotta get into this. Come on, I gotta be a voice actor. Let's do some warm-up exercises. I don't know. I don't know what exercises to do for voice acting. I just want to do it, you know what I mean? Like, do it right here for this video. Despite being the bearer of bleak news, Mel doesn't seem fazed at all. She continues with her bookkeeping, which totally eludes me. I just can't wait to get these double entries done. And then I can move on to important works. Then I can move on to the important things like refining my business plan. Is there anything I can do to help? Do you know double entry book accounting? I surely need a hand in reviewing these numbers. I have no idea what that is. Too bad. You need to learn about it someday. Those who are in control of the books are in control of their own business. Remember that. It's that powerful? Of course. It's called the book for a reason. If you know where to look, you could find out how well business is doing. You can even spot if a business is committing fraud by looking at the numbers. Dude, I cannot get her voice right now. Oh my gosh. No. Okay. I think I got her voice. Fraud? How so? Wow, there are many ways, such as bloating the numbers of employees, treating personal expenses as business expensive, unreporting inventory. Anyways, as I said, you should study this yourself. I don't have time to teach you this beautiful art with the limited time I have. Okay, I'll have a look when I have time. I expressed my enthusiasm, which hinted that I probably won't be touching the subject anytime soon. Accounting is simply something I have no interest in. Phew, I'm done. I look up from my task of scrubbing the tables clean to see a smile Mel standing in front of me, already pasting the books back into the drawer, her arms full of papers. Whoa, what's all this? I gesture at the paper she's holding, and she raises an eyebrow at me in response. Did you forget already? Forget what? Of course you did. You're an old man with memory, like a civvy. Hey, I'm not that old, and I'm not that forgetful. Mel completely ignores my protest and shoves the pile of documents into my arms. Caught by surprise, I fumble to keep them from falling, but a few stray pieces of papers drip to the floor. It's the weekend. I said I want to discuss some plans to improve the coffee house business with you today, remember? Oh, right, of course I remember. Pity Alice isn't here, but I guess it's fine. You would do. Mel makes herself comfortable in the chair next to me before thankfully taking the load of papers from me and dumping them on the table between us. She takes the page from the top of the pile and slides it over to me. Here, have a look at my flawless proposal, and be prepared to fall to your knees, overcome with the sheer awe at my brilliance. I clapped my hands with an over-exaggerated expression of awe, my mouth curled into a perfect half circle. Oh hell, Nakamoto II. Oh hell, the queen of the coffee business. Jeez, you don't have to poke fun at me, don't you? What are you talking about? I'm genuinely excited about what you're going to show me. But honestly, you're right about one thing. It's all thanks to Nakamoto. I even read her book twice from start to finish so I can get inspiration from her principles. That's how I know this plan is solid. Because it's the base of the idea from the greatest entrepreneur in the world. Do I want to ask how many times you read her book by now? As if mere numbers could encapsulate my endless respect and admiration for Nakamoto. I'll never stop studying her words until the day I prove myself as an entrepreneur. Actually, no, even after that as well. No, not even after that as well. Until my very last breath. I'm just having fun with this, what the fuck? It could just be a dim lighting of the coffee house that has closed for the day, but I swear I can see stars shining in the depths of Mel's eyes as she speaks dramatically about Nakamoto. In that moment, she looked so full of life and passion that I fear something stirring deep within my heart. As though I, too, could have a taste of what it is like to feel... I'm bad at reading today's shit. As though I, too, could have the taste of what it is like to feel fervor on such a level of intensity, to feel so alive. You know, I heard so much about Nakamoto from you, but you never explained why you idolize her so much. I know she's very successful and built her own business empire, but I'm sure there are others who also accomplished the same thing she did. Mel leaped to her feet and feints a punch towards me, and she cuts me off before I could finish my sentence. No, Nakamoto is not just any entrepreneur, Taka. She's an inspiration. I frown. I don't really understand, but I feel oddly compelled to try and understand Mel, so I ask again. An inspiration? Yes, Nakamoto is the one who inspired me to step on this path of entrepreneurship. She's the reason I dare to dream of being a businesswoman myself one day. Have you ever heard of the story of the Little Match Lady? The Little Match Lady? That sounds familiar. They have the same bedtime stories here in Victoria? I don't remember this one very well. But doesn't it end in tragedy? How is that relevant to Mel's admiration for Nakamoto? I assume that's a no. It's in Nakamoto's book, Taka, which you would know if you had read it like I told you to. Hey, I know the story, okay? Do you now? A little girl was forced to sell matches on the street for a poor family, right? And it was a particularly cold Christmas Eve, so she died. No, Taka. That's not how the story ended. How could you say that? I'm horrified. That's what I heard. Well, you heard wrong. The little match lady didn't freeze to death. No. She was a huge success that night. Wait, what? Mel shoots me a look full of disbelief and exasperation. Be quiet and listen. Yes, the little match lady was having trouble selling her matches that night. People far preferred a cup of coffee for fire caffeine instead of an old-fashioned way of lighting a match. She knew she couldn't sell her matches like this, so she thought long and hard about what to do. In a flash of brilliance, she came up with an idea. She stopped a happy couple passing by and offered them a match, asking if they would like to buy it. As expected, the couple wasn't interested and started to leave, but then the little match lady asked, "Sir, madam, do you have any wishes for the new year?" Of course they did, so they nodded. The little match lady smiled and struck a match in a swift move before offering it to them again. The couple looked on curiously, not understanding what she meant until the little match lady said, "Buy a match and make a wish before blowing it out. May all of your wishes come true." It changed everything. Her matches started selling like hotcakes. No one even minded the price of a single match was much higher than usual. Word passed by mouth, and very soon people began flocking to the plaza just to look for a little match lady wanting to buy a match to wish for their heart's desire. In one night, the little match lady sold all of her matches and made a small fortune. Of that money, she escaped her father and started her own business, which provided to just as success. Just one night, and the little match lady turned her entire life around with nobody's help but her own. Mel pauses and turns to me, her eyes burning with emotion. "Isn't that amazing, Taka?" ... Well, that wasn't what I was expecting, but I'm impressed. A lot more uplifting than the version I remember. Taka, tell me it's amazing. You really think the story is amazing, right? Well, yes, I suppose it is. But what does that have to do with Nakamoto? It was at the opening ceremony of her first Sparkwood branch in the West Coast. She was there personally to oversee it, and her speech, she told the story of the little match lady. A faraway look enters Mel's eyes as she recalls a distant memory. At the time, I was only 12 or maybe 13. I was striving to live in the slums of the West Coast with my family. This is the first time she mentioned about her life in the slums. I doubled my concentration as I did not want to miss her talking about her life story. Yes, the slums. Just like the East End here in Victoria. Maybe even worse. So you can imagine the shock when Nakamoto came along trying to sell coffee to us. Come to think of it, I did hear that Nakamoto had been overseas for quite a while, expanding her coffee empire into other countries, and the West Coast states was the country she went to first. There she was, standing tall and proud on the podium, speaking with such confidence and conviction that you would just couldn't help but to stop and listen to her words. And I'm glad I did, because her story changed my life. And that's why you came to Victoria, because you wanted to study under her stead? That's right, because she taught me I can be the little match lady, that I can climb my way out of poverty if I just use my brain and try to think outside of the box. I believe there was a way I could be an entrepreneur too. Nakamoto didn't just bring Sparkwood coffee to the West Coast. She brought a dream to the people who needed it the most. To me. Mel looks up at me with the softest smile I've ever seen grace her face. Taka, Nakamoto taught me a way out. Meeting her was the turning point to my life. I wouldn't be where I am today if not for her. She'll always be my greatest idol. I owe everything to her. She falls silent. Then, as she turns her face away slightly, so I can no longer see her expression. Her words linger in the air between us, twisting into an invisible thread that seems to be pulling us just a little bit closer. But when you arrive in Victoria, Nakamoto wasn't here anymore. Mel's silence seemed to be prolonged at my realization. It is the truth because she did tell me a while ago about her disappointment on the very day she arrived in Victoria. Nakamoto has departed overseas to continue her expansion plans. Yes, I was disappointed. I arrived only to discover that Nakamoto had traveled to the Antipodean Republic to expand her business empire. I couldn't believe it at first. I worked day and night at the coffee house back in the West Coast, learning to become a barista and how the trade works. It took years before I saved up enough to come to Victoria by airship, only to find that she left the city. But it didn't stop you from working at Sparkwood. Of course it didn't. After all, it didn't matter if Nakamoto was present. I wanted to learn the business process she set up. And where else can I learn all of this at the flagship store in Victoria? However, I immediately recalled the first day I stepped into Sparkwood. The chaotic scene which nearly crippled the coffee house until Mel stepped in to save the day. Did she really learn anything from Sparkwood? I have lingering doubts about that. It seems Mel was the only one who was saving Sparkwood. And this is where I'm going to prove myself as well. I'll make my dream come true. The dream that Nakamoto gave me. I could see a watery layer forming on the surface of her eyes. It is the mere reflection of her life story that is touching her own heart. Or is it reminiscing on the years of hardship that have allowed her to come this far? To be honest, I could not tell. I could have asked, but I feel like I should say something encouraging at this moment. You must have gone through a lot to come this far. She appears slightly surprised by my words, and then she breaks out into a bright, cheerful grin. Yes, of course I did, but there's still a road ahead of me. While her tone remains cheerful, somehow I sense a glimpse of sadness in her eyes. Am I overthinking this, or is there a story she hasn't told me yet? However, before I can ask any further, Mel jumps in. But do you understand now why Nakamoto is the greatest entrepreneur in the world? Well, I guess so. I mean, you already stated your reasons for. What do you mean, I guess so? Is it a yes or a no? Seriously, Mel is looking at me like those overly enthusiastic religious fanatics. I guess I can't just dodge her with an ambiguous answer. I probably should think up deeply about this. After all, Mel did take the time to state her case. I should at least give her a serious answer. Yes, Nakamoto's the best. Meh. Not as great as you. Okay, so there's a yes, there's a no, and not as great as you. Fuck. I hate when it's choices like these where it's like, don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna choose the middle one, but it's like, do I wanna like flirt with Mel? Because like, I don't know why, I kinda like Eliza. But you know what? We're gonna flirt with Mel. This will be the Mel route. Because I think you could go with like all 4 of those chicks, right? You could go with Mel, the mean girl, Alice, and Eliza. So you know what? I'm gonna flirt with her. I will do all the other ones together. Because you wanna know why? We're all in this together. Don't know the rest of the lyrics. Not as great as you. Well, yes, Nakamoto is great, but I think you're amazing in your own right too. What? No way. False flattery won't get you anywhere. I clear my throat and flash her my best smile. For one, you're very charming and have a gorgeous smile. You have a way with people. Customers love you. ... False. Nakamoto is the most charismatic woman I ever met. I'm nothing compared to her. And anyway, it doesn't matter. Her business mind and senses are unparalleled. And that's the important thing. Wow, lady, just take a compliment. I can only hope that one day I can be half as great as her. Anyway, like I said, I've came up with these plans based on the principles in Nakamoto's book. Mel points proudly at her proposal and looks at me expectantly, probably waiting for my praise. After hearing her story, I understand why Mel idolized Nakamoto so much, but is it really best for her to follow Nakamoto's footsteps like this? Although Mel seems to have completely gotten over her devastating departure from Sparkwood, I can't help but remember Mel's tearful face upon hearing about her demotion from Joseph. As successful as Nakamoto is, I don't know if I agree with the way Sparkwood treats employees as replaceable. Are you sure we have to follow Nakamoto's teaching like the gospel? I'm not following it like dogma, Taka. I'm following her teaching because they are relevant for me. A girl who had nothing, but now has something she can work to accomplish everything. Mel gives me a daring look, as if she's waiting for me to challenge her again, but I immediately lose all will to try and refute her claim. After all, I can't relate myself to her background. I wasn't born in the slums. To connect between her and Nakamoto is something I cannot fathom. Mel points at the first paragraph on her paper in front of me. Idea number 1. I'm going to set a maximum of 1 hour at a time limit for each customer to stay at a table. I've noticed that many customers stay at the table for way too long even after they finish their coffee. This means we have fewer seats available for new customers. As Nakamoto said, time is money. One way to increase revenue is to improve turnaround time, so that we can complete even more transactions in the same period of time. So, if each customer is allowed to stay for 1 hour, we should be able to serve more customers every day and earn more profits. I'm just having fun with her voice. I'm just like, It was really fun. Well, she's not exactly wrong, I suppose. Though I am hesitant about how well this new rule would go over with the customers. Idea number 2. We can add a minimum charge at Taka Coffee House. Every customer must pay a minimum amount fee for our service, even if their total is less than that. Huh? Interesting. The principle sounds familiar. How? What the fuck? Exactly like someone I heard back home, where salespeople love tempting you into spending more than you plan to. Oh. This is surprisingly realistic and profit-oriented for a place like Victoria. Then again, maybe I've been hanging around terrible business owners like Alice too much. But Mel's plan's really going to work for Taka Coffee House? Well, what do you think? Let's see. Ooh, what do I want to do? Like, I have some concerns with like the second one. The first one we can do. I'm gonna voice my concerns because I do have some concerns. I think the ideas are good overall, but what? What needs to be improved? I cough in discomfort, trying to ignore the way Mel's face falls at my words. Stay strong, Taka. This is for Taka Coffee House. Stay strong, man. Well, I'm a little worried that the suddenly imposing these rules may not go over so well with our regular customers. Why? The rules make perfect commercial sense. Well, yes, but our customers aren't used to such rules and take minimum charge as well. As an example, some customers may not be happy with being made to pay more, especially if they didn't know about this rule beforehand. Mel frowns and purses her lips. I can tell she agrees, but it's too late to backtrack. I press on anyway. Trust me, I've seen many businesses in my life. Oh really? She continues to regard me with such doubtful that I feel obligated to prove myself to her somehow. Would you like to hear some suggestions of mine? I've come up with a couple ideas for the coffee house in my spare time too. Yeah, let me hear it. What are the most standard types of business strategy that stores use back in the United States, which I suggest to Mel? Takeaway cups, customer loyalty programs, bundling and upselling. Takeaway cups would be good, just like have plastic cups so people could just get up and go. Because if we all have glass, that would be different. Customer loyalty programs, that's like being a membership to something, which, unless you have scanners, I don't know how you're gonna implement that rule. Bundling and upselling, isn't that basically, if you buy 2 of these, you get this one free, right? I'm not too sure. Let's go with takeaway cups. Takeaway cups. We can offer takeaway cups, takeaway service at the coffee house. Huh? What's that? Basically, instead of having to stay at the coffee house to finish their coffee, the customers can take away their coffee with them in a paper cup. That way, we can free up seats for more customers, and it's more convenient and attracts those who are too busy to sit down for a cup of coffee but crave one anyway. The increase in revenue would definitely more than pay for the cost of producing the paper cups. Mel's eyes widen as she jumps to her feet in excitement. Oh, I know. We could put Alice's face on the paper cups. Then they can advertise for our coffee house anywhere they go with their coffee. ... Maybe not Alice's face. I think the name of the coffee house would be good enough. This is actually a fantastic idea. It achieves the goal of increasing turnaround times, just like Nakamoto suggested. Can you tell me more? Do you have the details on how this works for those businesses? Let me try to remember. We continue to discuss plans for the coffee house, bouncing ideas off of each other. I may not have much experiences with running a business, but I've been a customer of many businesses in the past, which comes in handy when I offer suggestions from the consumer's point of view to improve Mel's plan. I hope you can hear me, because I feel like I'm talking low when I'm reading this, so I don't know. Before long, night has fallen. But neither of us seem to have noticed. Oddly enough, I don't feel tired. I should be exhausted considering I've never worked this hard for this long without taking even a small break. Yet, I'm not. For the first time in my life, I feel fired up, as though I've found what I truly want to do. Maybe it's thanks to Mel. After all, Taka Coffee House is my parents' legacy. If Mel is working so hard to revive the coffee house, how can I lose to her passion? Whatever the reason, the night flies by quickly. By the time the discussion draws to an end, it's already almost daylight? Did we spend the whole night coming up with our business plan? I look at the clock and it's already 6. Normally at this time, Alice is already here baking pastries. Of course, today is Sunday and we're closed. Because we're like Chick-fil-A, we believe in our Lord. And I think that's a good business thing. No, but I do believe for a good business you should at least be closed one day, you know what I mean? Like, I don't like 24-hour places like McDonald's, and like at least one day. Give your workers, you know what I mean? Be like, alright, let's just close up for a bit. Everyone go home. You get Sunday off. Do whatever you want. It's still considered a weekend, so yeah, you know what I mean? You can do something. Well, either church or maybe you want to do something with your friends, you know what I mean? It'd be cool. Mel stretches her arms above her head. Tiredness finally makes itself known on her face, but her spirits are as high as ever, and she beams at me with delight. That was a great meeting, Taka. I can't remember the last time I was able to share and discuss business strategies with someone. You know, you're a lot more astute than you seem. Should I take that as a compliment? It is a compliment, silly. Can't believe it's morning already. I should leave now. I'll try to work out the remaining details of your suggested plan after a quick nap so that we can include it in the action plan on Monday. You're going to work on it some more still? Yep. There's no time to waste. Hiding my yawn, I stare at Mel in disbelief, and I notice the dark shadows beneath her eyes that somehow escapes my notice before. Concern bubbles inside of me. How has she been doing this every night lately? I think back to the massive pile of documents that Mel showed me earlier, full of her scribbled notes, some of her reflections after reading Nakamoto's book again, some of her ideas and research. How long did it take to do all of that? And how long has it been since she started working at Taka Coffee House? I know I couldn't possibly have done that in such a short period of time. Hey, have you been staying up a lot to work on your business proposal? She shrugs, seemingly not seeing any problem with her behavior. I know you're a devout entrepreneur, but you should really get some rest. You won't help anyone if you end up overworking yourself and fall ill. Mel stares at me without replying, and I go back to her voice all of a sudden. Damn, how did my own voice go? Alright, this is my voice. Okay, I'm back. Mel stares at me without replying, and I begin to grow self-conscious under her gaze. Huh? Did I say something wrong? No, I was just surprised. I don't think you were so thoughtful and considerate, Taka. I am. I always am, okay? Despite her remark, a sweet smile spreads across her face and she gives me a small clap on the shoulder. I'm not doing this just for myself, you know. I know, you're doing this so we can save the coffee house from death. Thanks, Taka. I appreciate it. I'm going to take a quick nap. Good nap. Yawning, I make my way upstairs to my bed to catch a quick nap. The exhaustion finally catches up to me, and I fall face first onto my bed, too tired to even move a muscle. I fall into a peaceful, dreamless sleep. Mel. And I'm gonna leave it there. Alright. Man, I like how it's getting shorter now. Like, these videos are getting like maybe like 40 minutes long. 30 minutes to 40 minutes, you know what I mean? Anyway, I'm gonna do here. If you like the video, like, subscribe, leave a comment, you know, about anything. I like to hear what you guys say. And I try to at least comment back. I try, okay? I try. Whenever there's comments, there's some comments where it's like, I see it, but I'm too busy and doing something else that I forget about it. But you know, I try. I try to read every single comment, and I try to reply to everyone. Alright, I'm gonna go to bed. I'm tired. Okay, well then, farewell. And as always, bye bye.